superb. Their issue is getting in there. How do they get in there? Now, Ireland got in there a lot through retained kicks. We saw that stat. We spoke about that stat a lot during the game. It was well over double the amount of retained possessions they were and winning that high ball challenge. So that's how Ireland, in really wet conditions, were working their way up the field. Yes, they had some brilliant play and ball movement, but the Wallabies just weren't able to recreate or create that type of opportunity like the Irish.
Why is this happening? Why do we have so many men in gold struggling so badly with such a fundamental, basic part of the game?
Well, it's a structural and positional element. This is a trained skill. This is absolutely a trained skill. Bodies and movement around, reacting to ball. Everyone has a role when the ball's in the air. It just looks a little disjointed at the moment. Trying to manipulate the way that other teams have an opportunity to create this sort of high ball scenario, and look, there's some straight up and down skill execution. Sometimes you just have a wobbly and you can't sight the ball. You don't know where the wind's coming from. It's swirling around. Irish know how to play those conditions very well. And it's really simple. They get a lot of play out of it.
Absolutely. It is a skill execution, and the back three and, the 10s and everyone who's back there will be looking at that skill with a fine-tooth comb. They'll be going over that. You just look at some of those clips there. The Irish they had obviously a game plan to move some of the ball, and they showed that late. They showed it at times, through the game. The 10, I thought, was really good to be able to slip through a couple of times. Pendergast, I think his name was. But the Irish are kicking on their terms a lot. Some of those from free kicks. Some of those from winning the line out straight away down, throwing it straight to the 10 and putting a big bomb up with two chasers doing nothing but going to try and hit that bloke at the back or compete. So they're kicking on their terms, which gives a really efficient chase line. It also takes a lot of pressure off the kicker having to hit the mark. So they played those conditions quite well and were really clear about, OK, well, it's very wet conditions. We want to be trying to attack this high ball moving forward. And conversely, we want the Wallabies to have to be standing put, knowing there's two guys coming at us and trying to take these things that have got snow on them.
One of the best times, I don't know if it was knocking around when you were doing test week hoops, was when the forwards for once in the week finished before the backs. And the backs would do a couple of high ball receipts just to finish off the week, get a read on the air in the stadium. So you'd see them sticking up 10, 15, 20 high balls just to wrap the session. Forwards, JP, Bill Young, we'd sit on the sideline and throw so much heat at the backs. And one day, I reckon Matt Rogers, he missed 25 high balls. And not just miss them, like
25.
Postcode misses.
Proper headers, like bang, hang on, we think he's HIA, like heading in the wrong direction. It was one of the worst sessions I've seen play. And came out on the weekend and somehow managed to turn it around. But that's probably what is happening in France at the moment. You try and climb out, create a bit of humour around it, maybe, a bit of sledging, but you know that this is a skill we want to work on and we want to shut down.
Can I ask you both this? Because we've established my coaching credentials, 14s, Lamby Jets, 7s. So it works so well for Ireland. We have the tallest back on the field in Joseph Akuso-Suaalii. We have the phenomenally explosive Max Jorgensen. Why aren't we doing the exact same thing to Ireland that they're doing to us, knowing the collect you can get as a result of playing that way?
Well, it's pretty clear. It's just a different coaching style. Coaching style that says that I think the Wallabies want ball in hand. They want to play with ball in hand. Some of their attacking shape this year, when it has been at its best, has been holding the ball, getting the opposition into that washing machine, earning penalties. That's what we saw in that middle 20 minutes of the game, or 15 minutes towards half-time, that the Wallabies were able to create that, able to get penalty advantage, play on top, get inside the 22 through a couple kicks. So I don't think that they see that as a way that they want to play. Should they perhaps have that element of the game? I think, with someone like Joseph, we just haven't seen him unlocked in the aerial game at the moment. And I think the more I see him play there, I am becoming more and more of a fan, but I'd be more and more of a fan if he was on the wing. So I think the guy looks like he could be absolutely anything, and I think that would be well suited to the wing, and maybe that's an opportunity to get him into the game more. I'll stand by the fact that I hear someone like an Adam Ashley Cooper talk, so one of the great 13s of Australian rugby and wingers as well, and he goes, this guy needs to stick at 13. So I'll back what someone like that says, because he's got the understanding that I don't. But I just go back to an Israel Folau, one of the best we've seen in a gold jersey, and he started on the wing and, went to fullback, but bounced really, he was just amazing on the wing and had plenty of involvements there. So, yeah.
You're one of the most astute